Now the bit that's making the noise is to use a smoke machine, the type of thing that you see at parties. The revs are sitting at 1k. That is not right. Welcome back to the ATB channel, guys. We are here today with our E34 again, and today we're fixing some little minor issues. The steering wheel is squealing. I believe it's the connector that connects the horn. That's like a ring donut. So we're going to take the steering wheel off, grease up the steering wheel, the ring connector, and put it back together, and hopefully that fixes the squealing. And then we also got a slight engine misfire, not misfire, but it's a bit rough on the idle. So we're gonna smoke test the vacuum lines in the engine and see if there's any leaks or air leaks or anything like that, just to identify them and hopefully fix them today. So stay tuned, guys, stay locked in. We're gonna fix this thing today. As you can see here, guys, there's a slight squeal behind the steering wheel. I'll show you what I mean more clearly. Once I take the steering wheel off, you'll have a better idea of the contact area, the ring that's connected to a little pin which allows the horn to work. So let's get the steering wheel off. First thing I'm going to do is take the horn center bit out. So I'm just going to use a flat screwdriver to do that. Just pry it out slowly. Behind it there'll be two connectors. Just take note of which one goes where. The brown on the outside, black on the inside. Once that's out, we're going to take the big bolt in the middle out, and I believe that is a 22mm socket. Let's take this 22mm bolt out. Slowly undo this bolt. Okay, once your bolt is out, what I like to do is take the washer out, but I'm not going to do it this time because I've done this before. What I like to do is just make a little on the thread where the bolt goes and the steering wheel, just so that I know which way to put the wheel back on, the steering wheel back on. For now, I've done that before, so I'm going to take this off. Just give it a good wiggle. Oh, that's just reminding me, before you take the steering wheel off, put your key in, just take the steering lock off, turn the key on, and then the steering wheel should just slowly come off. Now the bit that's making the noise is, there's a ring here, and that ring connects to this tab right here. And what that allows them to do is to make a connection between that and ground, and that basically makes a connection to sound the horn. So as the steering wheel is going round, it's rubbing against this pin to make a constant connection, so whenever you press the horn, it blares off. But this needs to be greased up to stop it from making noise. So what I'm going to do now is grease up this ring around here using copper grease, and then basically fitting it back and testing it and see if that's sorted the squeaky noise out. So let's get it. I'm just going to use some copper grease and my screwdriver, and I'm just going to go around this ring. You don't need to put too much on, just enough to make it nice and lubricated. Now you can use the electric, I think that's what it's called, grease on this, which is a silicone based grease, and that basically allows everything to be greased up nicely and doesn't allow any electrical conductivity to go through it. But I have heard that copper grease is basically the opposite. It still greases up the area, but it allows electrical conductivity to go through it, and it can be used for this application. But don't quote me on this, just make sure you do your own research about what products to use. Right, I'm going to put a bit of copper grease on this pin, and basically it's the reverse process to put the steering wheel back on. Right, brown wire on the outside, black wire on the inside. Pop it back in. Right, we're going to test that now. There we go, nice and smooth. No more horrible noise, and horn works. There we go, guys. That is a nice and simple fix from stopping your steering wheel from squeaking and making that horrible noise. While I'm here too, guys, I'm going to give the steering wheel a good old clean. I'm just using simple, very liquid sort of solution with water, and I'm going to use a brush here to just get all this greasiness off. I've got a cloth down here to take up the water. I'm going to concentrate on these areas as they still have quite a bit of nasty grease on them, some kind of horrible material, so I'm going to go at them for a bit. The steering wheel was rather bad, so I had to go at it a few times. Sorry about the blurry video. My camera was out of focus, but you could just see me here just giving it a good scrub. The steering wheel is looking so much better. It was the main areas where normally your hands would sit, on these edges and the bottom edge, and a bit on the top, sort of this edge and this edge. So yeah, I spent some time just focusing on those areas with the brush and just getting it nice. The next thing I'm going to do is put a bit of cream on this, just like leather cream. It'll just give it a bit of moisture and make it feel good. What I'm going to do is stick some black leather cream on the steering wheel just to give it some moisture after all that cleaning. The degreasing sort of liquids that I used to clean this made it very dry, so this cream should just give it some nice moisture. I'm going to use this application pad. I'm just going to go around and apply some. What I'm going to do is just apply it on for now, and then I'll use the other side of the microfiber sponge and buff it off. There we go, guys, all done. Looking nice and clean and fresh now, and it feels good as well. Feels nice and soft and clean. That's what we're after. That is so much better. It is looking so shiny, so clean. Right, guys, that is a job done on the steering wheel. The horn ring is now greased up and it stopped squealing, and the steering wheel is now clean and creamed up with nice leather restorer / cream, and it feels good and looks good. Right, guys, what I'm going to be doing now is doing a smoke test on the engine. So I'm going to use a smoke machine, the type of thing that you see at parties. I'm going to connect it to a pipe into the vacuum system. It's going to send smoke through the engine, and what that will do is basically show me where the brakes are, or if there's any cracked pipes or any splits. The smoke will come out of the area and show me that there is a vacuum leak. I'm going to show you that now. So here's our smoke machine. This is the machine I'm going to use to connect to a pipe, and then I'm going to send it into the intake in this car. Just going to show you a quick demonstration of that now. Sorry about the wind noise, by the way. So I'm going to connect this to the intake, and it's going to send smoke into the intake and then basically fill it and show me where it's going to come out from. So it's all now connected up. Let's give it a whirl. I'm just going to keep filling it until I notice there's smoke coming out from somewhere. So I've sent 2 lots of smoke into this particular intake and I haven't seen any smoke coming out anywhere. So I'm going to find another place to send the smoke in and see if I can see any vacuum leaks. Right guys, the reason I'm doing a smoke test is because the revs on this car sit slightly high. So normally when there's a vacuum leak, there's air going in or out, not creating a nice vacuum, and the ECU is getting the wrong reading, and in essence the revs either sit higher or lower and the engine is just not running happy. So with this instance I'm getting high revs, and that basically is telling me that something's not quite right with the engine intake. My microphone dropped out here, but all I'm trying to explain is there is something wrong with either the ECU, the mass airflow sensor, or something that needs further investigation. I attached the smoke machine in multiple areas into the intake, but it made no difference. I didn't see any smoke coming out, so I'm going to investigate further and I'm going to show you where the revs are sitting at the moment. So as you can see, the car is warm, it's at optimum temperature, and the revs are sitting at 1k. That is not right. It should be sitting around 800 RPMs, around that sort of area, 800, not at 1000. So let's investigate, let's keep looking, see what the problem is. I was looking around the sort of area where the accelerator cable comes in, and you can do some various adjustments here and things like that. So I had to play around with that, but that made no difference. But while I was looking, I realized and noticed that this is sticking a bit too far out. So in essence, it's pulling on the accelerator cable, which is opening the throttle body slightly. If I simply push this back in to its home, in essence, that should have pushed that back, and hopefully the revs are holding up fine. Let's go check it out. Fingers crossed, let's hope this works. I'm going to start the engine and hope for the best. Oh, I think we fixed it. The revs are down and it's stopping it from holding it high. Wow, the engine sounds so much better. It doesn't sound like it's struggling anymore. I think that's done it, guys. Yeah, I think that's fixed it. All it was that, and now that not being in place was tugging on the accelerator cable and basically holding it like that. Yeah, all sorted. There we go, guys. Sometimes it's the silliest thing ever. I might have knocked that when I did the starter motor job, it's very likely, but this problem was here when we acquired this car, so I got a feeling that it was always like that. Sometimes it's a silly thing, sometimes it's a complicated thing. All it takes is a bit of investigation and we can get to the bottom of it. Come on guys, I literally spent no money on this and fixed the problem. Winning. Thanks for watching this episode on sorting the steering wheel out and fixing the accelerator issue on this E34. Make sure you stay tuned. There's more videos coming on this car, the E38, the E46, the E23. We got lots of projects going on, so stay tuned. Lots of content coming. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and see you on the next one.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let